Dear friends, this is episode number 29 of the Limitation Act. We are dealing with section 14 of the Limitation Act. Last time I cited a few decisions. Today I will continue that process. Please note AER 1997 Kerala 361. It is also reported in KLT 1997 1 KLT 777. Rajaratna Naikan NAIKKAN versus Parameswara Kurup. There the question was, an application was filed by a party under Order 21 Rule 90 of the Code of Civil Procedure. That was dismissed. Later the same party filed an application under section 47 of the CPC. Whether the time taken for prosecuting the application under Rule 90 of Order 21 could be excluded is the question involved in that case. There it was held, earlier proceeding was not for the same relief as the one sought for under section 47. It is not a suit. Section 14 covers one suit, subsection 1, subsection 2 application. And I had pointed out the difference where the relief, the same matter in issue is the point that is covered by section 14(1), whereas it must be for the same relief while we are dealing with an application coming under section 14(2). So whether it was for the same relief was the question. That was considered by the court. And another question arose. Having filed an application under Rule 90 of Order 21, whether that party is stopped from filing an application under Rule section 47 and whether the doctrine of election will apply. And there the execution, the sale was held on 12/10/92. The application was filed within time under Rule 90 and matter went up to Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court dismissed the case on 30/7/1996. On 13/8/96, within a month of the dismissal of the application for special leave by the Supreme Court, the party, the judgment debtor, filed an application under section 47. And he sought, that was beyond 3 years. He sought exclusion of the time which, according to him, he was prosecuting bona fide in a court which, because of defect of jurisdiction, could not entertain it. This was the factual position. The executing court dismissed the application under 47. Revision against that order was dismissed by the High Court as per this judgment, which is reported. And there, in paragraph 5, 12 and 13, I will read a certain portion. In Roshanlal AER 1975 Supreme Court 824, the Supreme Court observed certainly section 14 is wide enough to cover periods covered by execution proceedings. That is a point which you may note. Supreme Court has held in 1975 Supreme Court that what can be excluded, whether it is a period which is covered by execution proceeding arose for consideration, and it was decided that the period covered by execution proceedings also can be excluded provided the other conditions are satisfied. The Supreme Court relied on the decision in AER 1958, Supreme Court 827, and also AER 1985, Supreme Court 39. Supreme Court assumed that earlier proceedings under section 144 of the CPC was a civil proceeding for the purpose of section 14. Earlier the High Court of Calcutta also held so execution proceedings. This view has been taken by the High Courts of Madras, Madhya Pradesh and Allahabad. And the Supreme Court held in the decision which I said, Roshanlal, AER 75, Supreme Court 824. In this situation, taking note of the object of section 14, there cannot be any difficulty in overruling the contention of the learned counsel for the decree holder that section 14 of the Limitation Act has no application in the case, because it is the time sought for is in the execution proceedings. I therefore overrule the contention, then this is by the Kerala High Court. I therefore overrule the contention on behalf of the decree holder that the judgmentor having earlier applied for setting aside the sale under Rule 90 is stopped from filing an application under 47 of the CPC. This was one of the points raised. Both are in execution. One is Order 21 Rule 90. It is for setting aside the sale on the ground of material irregularity or fraud in publishing and conducting the sale, plus certain other conditions to be satisfied. Whereas section 47 is a question which arises in execution, and it has to be decided by the executing court alone and not by a separate suit. There is a bar. And where the time for filing an application under Rule 90 of Order 21 is 60 days. Whereas the period for filing an application under section 47 is under the residuary article 137, that is 3 years. So on very many occasions people resort to 47 because the time for filing an application under Rule 90 would have expired, and therefore they will try to fit in the case under 47 and move it for the purpose of setting aside the sale. There the Supreme Court in various cases, Deshabandhu Gupta versus N.L. Anand and various other cases have held that the pre-sale illegalities are covered by section 47 and the post-sale illegalities are covered by Rule 90 of Order 21. Those are all well settled now. Here the point is this: having moved an application under Rule 90 of Order 21, whether that same party can make an application under 47, having made an election to file it under Rule 90, whether he is stopped from moving an application under 47. There this court, Kerala High Court, held in the decision which I cited, held that there is no such estoppel. He can file an application under Rule 90, he can again file an application under 47, both are for different purposes. But he cannot get exclusion of the time spent by him while prosecuting the application under Rule 90, because section 14(2) says that both applications must be for the same relief. That condition is not satisfied, and therefore the time occupied by the prosecution of the application under Rule 90 cannot be excluded for the purpose of computing the period of limitation for an application under section 47. The application under section 47 of the code was admittedly made out of time. In view of my conclusion that section 14 of the Limitation Act is not available to the judgmentor to exclude the time spent by him in prosecuting an application under Order 21 Rule 90 of the code, he is not entitled to exclusion of the period from 14/12/92 to 37/96. Hence, the application under section 47 has to be held to be made one out of time. This is the conclusion. The discussion is very, very informative, and very many aspects have been considered, and these are the points. 1. The time spent by a party in a proceeding in execution also can also be sought to be excluded in another proceeding, suit or other proceeding. There is no harm. Second, having filed an application under Rule 90 of Order 21, that party is not stopped from filing an application under 47. 3. A person who has moved an application under Rule 90 cannot exclude the time spent by him by prosecuting that application for the purpose of computing the period of limitation for filing an application under Section 47. Sorry. Dear friends, sorry there was an interruption when a phone call came. Yes, next we will go to 1997 9 SEC 701. Parallel citation AER 1997 Supreme Court 1686. Sundar Das and others versus Gajanan Rao and others. Gajanan Rao and others. A suit was filed within limitation. It was filed before a court which was found to be lacking in pecuniary jurisdiction, and it was returned, refiled before the proper court. The question is whether the time spent by that party before the wrong court could be excluded. The Supreme Court held plaintiffs were prosecuting in good faith their suit before a court which from defect of pecuniary jurisdiction was unable to entertain it. And therefore the plea of bar of limitation raised by the learned counsel for the contesting defendants stands rejected. Next is 1996 11 SEC 167. AER citation AER 1996 Supreme Court 3488. Two judges, Bhaktawar Singh and another versus Sada Kaur SADA Sada Kaur and another. Suit was for possession of property. Earlier suit was there, it was withdrawn with permission to file a fresh suit on the same cause of action. The plaintiffs did not produce even the application file for withdrawal of the earlier suit, nor the order which the court passed permitting withdrawal of the suit. And therefore the court before whom the second suit was filed was completely in the dark as to what happened before the court where the former proceeding was there. If it was withdrawn and it is covered by 14(3) of the Limitation Act, which is an exception to Rule 2 of Order 23 CPC, time can be excluded. But the court cannot decide that for dearth of details. And this is what the Supreme Court said in paragraph 8 and 9. I will read a small portion in paragraph 9. As regards the exclusion of time under Section 14 of the Limitation Act, it was essential for its application to show that the proceedings related to the same matter in issue, and the plaintiff prosecuted the suit in good faith in a court which from defect of jurisdiction or other cause of a like nature is unable to entertain it. As discussed above, plaintiff's appellants have miserably failed to show as to what was the defect of jurisdiction or any other cause of a like nature by reason of which the earlier suit was not entertainable by or competent. That being so, that benefit of the provisions of Section 14 cannot be legitimately extended to the suit of the plaintiffs. In these facts and circumstances, the plaintiff's suit has been rightly dismissed as barred by limitation. So you can make a claim under 14(3). You have withdrawn the suit. If it is suit is withdrawn, that is not a ground for to save limitation, but an exception is carved out. If it is withdrawn on the ground of defect of jurisdiction or other cause of a like nature, that period can be excluded, for which you have to satisfy the court that you withdrew the suit, you had withdrawn from the suit on this ground. And the order of the court also may indicate that. It should really indicate, but that depends on the judge who passed the order. But if your application shows that this is the reason why you have sought withdrawal of the suit, the court may accept it. Next is 1998 8 SEC 357. Saushis Diamonds, SAUSHIS, Saushis Diamonds versus National Insurance Company. It was a Consumer Protection Act proceeding. A claim was there. Interpretation of insurance policy was the question. Diamonds entrusted to a commission agent was the point. That was the loss of it, insurance claim, etc. The insurance company repudiated the claim and disputed the interpretation given to the policy by the complainant. A commission under the commission under the consumer protection rightly relegated the parties to a civil action. Limitation had run out by that time, and the period occupied by the proceedings before the commission under the Consumer Protection Act was sought to be excluded in computing the period of limitation for filing the suit. The Supreme Court held the time taken between the date of filing of the claim before the commission and the date of its disposal would be considered by the civil court for exclusion under section 14 of the Act. That is a correct procedure. That is a correct procedure. The court, while dismissing a matter, rejecting a matter on the ground that it has no jurisdiction, cannot say that when you file a suit, this period will be excluded. That is only that court which has to decide whether you have satisfied the conditions so that you can get exclusion of the period occupied by the prior proceedings. But the Supreme Court does it because two reasons. One, all the necessary papers are before the Supreme Court. It has reached that stage. Parties have fought the litigation. In one case I said, which I cited, 42 years pending. Should the Supreme Court again directed the court to consider it? Supreme Court considered it and said that you exclude this period under section 14. It can be done, that the power which the Supreme Court can exercise in such circumstances is different from the power which is to be exercised by other courts. Next is 1992 to Kerala Law Journal, KLJ 923. It is also reported in 1992 Kerala High Court cases 279. T.S. Lakshmikutty Amma versus Umman Nainan, WOMMEN Nainan. Decree holder was a respondent in a proceeding. An original petition where the claim was made. That OP was filed by the judgmentor for debt relief. A period, during certain period it was pending there, and therefore the decree holder could not file an execution petition within time. This proceeding ended in favor of the decree holder. he filed the execution petition. He sought exclusion of this time which was during which the proceeding before the debt relief authority was pending. There a contention was raised by the JD that the decree holder was only a respondent in that proceeding. He was not putting forward a claim and therefore he was not prosecuting, is the argument. That argument was negatived by Justice Paribhuranan, K.S. Paribhuranan, who later became a judge of the Supreme Court. I will read a short paragraph, paragraph 5. On hearing the rival pleas, I am of the view that the court below totally misconstrued and misunderstood Section 14 of the Limitation Act. It is true that the revision petitioner was not the plaintiff in OP number 5 of 72. He was only a respondent therein. But in the said proceeding, he had claimed that right which is sought in this execution petition. In OP number so and so, he was not resisting or defending the proceeding. He was claiming the rights to get the amount in the said original petition. He may not be eo nomine a plaintiff, but that is not a decisive for the question. And then the learned judge refers to the commentaries of the Limitation Act, and it is where it is stated thus. You please note this. Where the plaintiff in the second suit was a plaintiff in the prior proceeding, and other circumstance specified in the section exist, the section clearly applies. Then there is no difficulty. But where the present plaintiff was only a defendant in the prior proceeding, does the section apply? It has been held that it will apply, provided he had claimed therein the rights sought for in the present suit. In other words, he must have in the prior suit interest in the nature of those of a plaintiff. See the interpretation. See the interpretation. The skill of the lawyers you will find there. The above statement is supported in the decision in AER 1954, Travancore Cochin 237, and AER 1959, Kerala 7, Justice Paribhuranan says, and it was relied on. We will see in the next episode. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption when a telephone came. It was because of a lapse on my part. Sorry.